Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I wanted to talk about how you can make your SP obsessed with you, okay? Or really any desire. I do feel like, the process is kind of the same for like whatever it is that you're trying to manifest. And that's just a belief that I have. I know some people think otherwise, but I really think that it all just boils down to self-concept and repetition. And that's something that I'm going to live by and stand by, okay? Self-concept plus repetition is the key. It's liquid gold. It's a holy grail for you getting all your manifestations, okay? But here is how you can make your SP obsessed with you. You need to turn things around, because I know a lot of you that watch, videos like this, maybe you're watching this, and I'm not judging you or blaming you for this at all. I myself have been there. Maybe you've had obsessive thoughts about your SP or your manifestation. You would obsessively check the 3D, this, that. All you need to do is that, okay, every time I get into that mode, they're doing that as well, okay? They're also obsessively thinking about me. They're also you know they're also tracking my social media at the same time. They're mirroring me, and let me tell you guys, like, this has proven to be true in my life. I am not even kidding when I say, like, I had an SP who I thought about a lot, and this man's, I kid you not, okay, like, he had a TikTok, and I don't think he knows about, like, TikTok views, but like, he was viewing my TikTok like every day. And like, even when we would meet up, like, he told me that, oh, I watched your story highlights, I really like your posts, or I really like, Instagram stories, I like your stories. And like, he implied that, like, I definitely got some proof and confirmation that he was going through my story highlights. Why? Because, like, he told me that. And yeah, you just like, and also like my previous post, I think I like accidentally, I don't know, like, was it him or someone else? But like, I saw that someone liked my highlight from like a year ago or something, and I'm just like, okay, you guys, you never know what's going on behind the scenes, okay? Like, the thing is, if you're thinking about them, they're thinking about you, and that's an assumption that you need to have. And you also need to get out of that, or like, you need to completely eradicate the assumption that thinking about your desire pushes it away. That is like the biggest limiting belief I have ever come across. Thinking about your desire is not going to push it away. In fact, that is what is going to bring it to you. That is how you're going to magnetize it, okay? Again, you're the alchemist, you're powerful, you're limitless. Use your power, okay? Like, you need to tell yourself that, like, no, I am so powerful that I make the laws, I make the rules, okay? That the beautiful thing about manifestation and law of assumption is that you get to make the rules, and whatever you personally assume to be true is true, not what someone else assumes for you, not the projections of other people, which again is just you. It's actually just projection of your mind, right? But you need to figure out like what works for you and what doesn't, okay? So if you want to make your SP obsessed with you, first of all, just assume that they are obsessed with you, okay? But also self-concept affirmations, like, I am healthily obsessed over. I love that one. Okay. Be careful when you use the word obsession. Obviously, no one wants, like, like a really scary situation, but, healthily obsessed, that's okay. People worship the ground that I walk on. And I know, you guys, these sound a little bit dramatic, okay? But here's the thing: if you can't say like dramatic affirmations about yourself, like, that could mean that you need to work on self concept. Because I know some people are just like, oh my gosh, this is so, like, selfish or narcissistic or this, that. That's really, it's really not, you guys, okay? There are people, I've seen people in relationships where, the couple, like, they worship each other, they're healthily obsessed with each other, they're so madly deeply in love with each other. If that can happen for other people, why can't that happen for you, right? Like, you don't limit yourself, okay? If you want your SP to be obsessed with you, you want them to have, like, the thoughts that you've had about them, you want them to be addicted, with you, then just say that I am addictive, I am mesmerizing, I am powerful, I am healthily obsessed over, I am worshipped. It's that easy, you guys. Like, I am worshipped. Like, just, all these affirmations, I'm gonna say them again. I am worshipped, I'm healthily obsessed over, I am addictive, I am mesmerizing, I am captivating, I am entrancing, okay? And then, just repeat them. Like, I would say, I always, I'm gonna say this in other videos, and this is like, if you decide to get coaching with me, like, this is something that I'm gonna like consistently tell you, and, like, stand by. But you just pick a couple of affirmations, okay, 2 3 max, and keep affirming them until you get your full manifestation. But while you do have those 2 or 3 affirmations, as long as you're saying them every day, you can say other affirmations as well. I will say, and I know this might be a limiting belief to some, sometimes people don't manifest because they keep changing their affirmations and their brain gets confused. So all you really need to do is continue to say your affirmations, okay? Continue to just robotically affirm, just saturate your mind repetitively, or, just repeat your affirmations, like the couple of ones that you have, and then anything else you want to add, like, oh, like, I'm always spoiled, or like, I always get this and that in my relationship. I'm always posted on social media, I'm always given attention, I'm always shown off to friends and family, like, all of that is fine. But I would even say, like, have a couple of blanket affirmations that encompass that. Okay, I think this is advice that I've been giving in a lot of videos. So I'll just say it again. Write down the blanket affirmation, and then write bullet points under it. Like, okay, if you are in that perfect relationship with your specific person, or you have that perfect job, what does that look like? What are they doing? Like, are you receiving attention? How often are you seeing each other? Where are you living? Like, like, what do you want them to do? I know, like, some people just say, like, oh, my SP does whatever I want them to do. They're always just reflecting me. I just have to think of, whatever it is, and they're just going to say that back. And you guys, I've experienced this. I have had people say my affirmations back to me verbatim, like, to even the syllable, like, enunciation that I imagine them saying that in. Okay, like, this really, really does work. You just need to be consistent, and you need to drop the old story. Okay, for a lot of you guys, maybe you have a little bit of resistance to, oh, SP's obsessed with me, or I'm obsessed over, because you keep, like, playing into the old story, or like, the timeline where you didn't experience that. And I'm using these words very, like, consciously, like, timeline where you didn't experience that. Okay, that's just one timeline. Okay, there's so many other timelines. In fact, just say they're obsessed with you in every timeline. I'm obsessed over in every timeline. That'll even that'll even revise the past. Okay, that will even switch up the past, and, like, revise anything that isn't that. Okay, because in your desired timeline, where you have your full manifestation, like, your SP would be all over you. They're super into you. And again, I know a lot of you, you're smart. Like, you're not gonna, like, say, like, oh yeah, they're gonna, like, sacrifice, like, everything for me. Like, no, but, like, it's not wrong for, your partner to be healthily obsessed with you, for you to give you attention. Okay, and saying affirmations like, I'm addictive, like, people worship the ground. Like, I feel like this reminds me of, like, this quote, like, when you shoot for the moon, right, like, you land amongst the stars. So, like, I mean, like, just saying these grandeur type affirmations, you guys, like, you will get a lot of movement from doing that. Like, I will even say, if you affirmed every day that you're a millionaire, I'm so grateful to be a millionaire, you will definitely at least earn six figures. Okay, I have noticed that, like, sometimes when I went really big with my affirmations, I did end up either getting that exact, affirmation, that manifestation, or, like, something pretty close to it. I mean, I'm the type of person that doesn't settle. So if I say I'm going to be a millionaire, I'm going to be a millionaire. But, and, like, again, sometimes manifestations are just, like, pending in progress. There's no such thing as a failed manifestation, maybe an incomplete manifestation, but there's no such thing as failure, just pending progress, right? So that's definitely something, to keep in mind here. So it's like, if you're, with your SP, and they're not showing you that they're obsessed with you yet, you got to keep going. Okay, and stop reacting to the 3D. Just keep going. You really, like, I'm not even kidding when I say you have to be detached from timelines that are not your manifestation. That's not your full manifestation. That's why when people say detach, they mean detach from the resistance, which means detaching from that version of your SP that you don't like, even detaching from the version of you that manifested that. Okay, and, like, you need to understand, you guys, like, you don't need to keep going through the same cycle pattern, and you would get out of it, a lot easier if you just continue to affirm, if you just continue to repeat. You spent less time complaining. I don't think there's anything wrong in, like, watching videos for motivation and encouragement. And that's actually another tip I wanted to give. Maybe tell yourself, every time I watch manifestation videos, something clicks within my brain, something activates within my brain, and I get my manifestations that much faster. I even like saying, every time I read a book, like a self-help book or a manifestation book, I experience magic. There is actually a book that I read, like, that I've read a couple times, or actually, no, I've only read it once, but I will read it. I will reread it again. It's called A Happy Pocket Full of Money. And I'm not even kidding you guys. Like, every time I read that book, something shifts, something magical happens. I end up getting money. I end up, like, getting promoted. I end up, like, getting, like, my hotel paid for, like, a free trip. Okay. And then I realized, like, why don't I just say that for every other book that I read? And actually, this was something that a follower of mine told me. Like, she said, like, oh, I just say that, like, oh, every time I read this, I experience magic. And I'm like, okay, wow, that's a good affirmation. So it's like, if you're gonna watch, tarot videos, if you're gonna watch manifestation videos, you might as well just make it work in your favor. Every time I watch these videos, I get that much closer to my manifestation. Okay, but sorry, I'm a little bit all over the place in my videos. If you've been watching me, you know that, but I just feel like information dumps are really, like, the best way to just get everything out there. Okay, so I mean, if you want to rewatch this, pause it, slow it down so you can take notes. I mean, that's highly recommended. I feel like Yeah, oh my gosh, this feels like those like college lectures. Like I feel like I definitely had some professors that were just, giving so much information, so much useful information that I had to like rewatch it. But anyways, yeah, make them obsessed with you by just turning around the situation. If I'm obsessed with them, they're obsessed with me. And it does happen, you guys. Like I have actually like I've literally had like, one of my SPs tell me that like, oh, I can be a little bit obsessive. And it's funny because I looked up his birth chart and like I did see those like obsessive traits. Like I did see like, like an indicator in his birth chart that like showed that. And you guys, this man was like stalking my TikTok a lot. I'm not even kidding. Like I didn't even know like TikTok profile views were a thing, but then I turned them on. Like he was on my page a lot. And like, that's also something you have to like affirm. Like, oh, okay, if I had like, there are some tools where I don't know if they're like legit or accurate or not, but like you can see who like viewed maybe your Instagram story. Like you just like I mean, obviously, no, that is a tool that does exist. You can see who viewed your Instagram story, but I think like there were some apps that could show you like who's stalking your profile. So I mean, even whether that's true or not, just tell yourself like, okay, if I did have an app that showed who was stalking my profile, my SP would be on it all the time because my SP is like obsessed with me. They love like viewing my pictures, this that. But I mean, if you're in a relationship, then figure out what that looks like to you. I mean, like if you're in a relationship, then just say, oh yeah, like if you're living from the end of being in a relationship, my SP like likes all my posts, they comment on all my posts, like I'm the only love interest they follow. I'm the only romantic interest they follow. And you guys, there's nothing wrong in wanting that. Okay. Like I have literally seen couples on social media where like, they only like, they'll follow friends and family, but like, like they've deleted like, exes, past lovers, this, that. I'm not gonna lie. Like I have deleted exes. Like, I'm trying to like, I'm just trying to be with, me and my SP, the only one. Like, and that's just a personal decision. But you guys, like anything you want to manifest, you can do that. And like, I talked about this in another video, but like, first of all, let's not judge other people for what they want. I don't think like, that's conducive to your manifestation. Definitely don't do that because that like, I don't want to say blocks your manifestation, but like if you're judging other people, you're spending energy doing that. Whereas you could be spending energy creating what you want. And anything you want, you guys, it is fine. I'm just here to help you get what you want. And I have like seen good, happy, healthy relationships. I've been in my own relationships that were good, happy, healthy. I have had like men, you guys, like I dated this guy and like, I didn't even affirm for this. This was actually before I knew about manifestation. He gave me the passcode to his phone and I didn't ask. I didn't do anything. That's also the thing about manifestation. You never have to force the 3D. You never have to say like, oh, give me the passcode to your phone. Show me your phone. Show me your DMs. Like, don't do that. Like that'll come off as controlling. But just, if you want that, if you want to be with someone who you like feel very safe and secure around, that you trust really deeply, then just tell yourself that I feel safe and secure. I can trust my partner. My partner's loyal and trustworthy. It's easy for me to like, feel safe and secure in a relationship, and they will reflect that. I'm not even kidding you guys. Like this man gave me the passcode to his phone without me even asking, and he even offered to like, stop talking to like one of his female friends that was an ex. But I mean, I didn't really care because like she had a boyfriend, and I was like, okay, like that's fine, like I don't care if you're like talking to her. Like, it was a very platonic conversation, like like he showed me, like I didn't even ask him, but like he showed me the conversation, like there were not even screenshots but the actual live conversation. It was like so normal, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like I can really trust you, like trust me, you guys, this guy was very loyal, very trustworthy, and he would always say like, oh, you're my number one girl. And he even offered to like like tell me like, yeah, like I don't need to talk to her. And I think they even stopped talking to us, but I never really had a problem. I don't even know how that conversation came up, but like I'm not really the type of person where I would tell someone like, hey, stop talking to this person, this that. Like I'm not gonna lie, I have gotten jealous, and I do wish there were times where like the people I dated weren't really in contact with their exes, because I thought that was weird. But like like this guy like just came to me and said like, hey, I will stop talking to her if you want me to. And I said like, no, you can continue to be friends. But I think like from what I like saw and heard, I think like he just straight up stopped talking to her because like she was in a relationship, he was in a relationship. But again, it was like, super platonic. There wasn't like a flirtatious message or anything like that, because he really respected me. He respected my relationship. He was extremely loyal. So just say I attract loyal people. I am respected in my relationships. Okay. And yeah, don't like force the 3D. I will say like don't tell your partner like, hey, delete these people, this that. Just like in your mind, be like, if you want them to delete certain people that you don't feel comfortable with them having, just affirm that. Okay, like they respect me, they deleted that. Like and I know you guys, people have different standards in their relationship. Again, no need to judge, okay? And I've seen people that, like, are in relationships where they completely respect that. I have seen, like, my friends are married, and I'm not like judging anyone here, okay? Like, I honestly, I don't even know who's watching, but like, at like some of my married friends, I was kind of just seeing, like, what their dynamic is like. Maybe I looked at, like, their spouses, their partners, and like, their social media looked normal. They weren't following any, like, provocative accounts, this, that. 'Cause I don't know. I personally get the ick. I think that's weird. I'm like, if you're in a married relation, like, happy relationship, like, y'all don't need to be doing that on social media. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. I've actually had a couple of clients, tell me that, like, they felt a little bit uncomfortable that their SP was following this many girls or this many guys, this, that, and like, just understand that, like, whatever is going on right now, even if you don't like what you're seeing on social media, once you get into that relationship, they will get the idea that, like, okay, you know what, I need to respect my partner. I don't need to be following these people. And this is just an example I give a lot because we're in the age of digital media, and I have seen how social media has, like, potentially, like, ruined relationships, but it's also, like, it's definitely been a stress factor for a lot. So yes, a lot of my examples are, that way based. But here's the thing, like, I feel like, me personally, I think social media just, like, reveals, like, what a person's, true character is. It's not really the problem itself, okay? The only, like, I don't want to say, like, you're the problem, but my point is, like, if you're experiencing problems, then you just have to tell yourself that, okay, you know what, no, I'm respected, I am treated well, like, and I've seen, like, like, I've seen everything happen. I've seen people move mountains for the person that they want to be with. And at the end of the day, we all have different standards, we all have different boundaries, but the best way to make people adhere to those boundaries, to make people respect you, to be obsessed with you, is to just affirm that. Just do it in your mind, and they get that ping, they get that hit, you guys. Like, even for me, I have manifested third parties out of the picture, okay? Like, I would just say, like, no, I'm loved, I'm the only one, I'm the only and best option, no one compares to me, I am irreplaceable. And then I would see my SP, unfollowed, like, whoever they were following. And like, it's like there was no even sort of, what do you call, evidence that they followed each other. Like, they unfollowed each other. Like, my SP unfollowed them, and that person unfollowed them, or that person unfollowed them first, and my SP unfollowed them. Like, I've seen my clients even manifest this, okay? If you want to get third parties out of the picture, you just got to assume that you're the most confident, secure, amazing person, that you're irreplaceable, that you're always respected, you always receive loyalty and commitment, and whoever needs to move will move. Like, I'm not even kidding you when I say, like, whoever needs to be out of the picture, whoever needs to be deleted, whoever needs to move for you to get your manifestation will move. 8 billion people will move if they have to, for you to get your manifestation, for you to be happy, okay? And like, just don't, like, limit yourself. Don't feel like, oh, am I asking for too much, this, that. That's also, like, I feel like, a sign that your self-concept needs to be better. Like, of course, obviously, do things with discernment. Like, again, if you're manifesting someone to be obsessed with you, say they're healthily obsessed with you, okay? Like, no, don't, like, and I've never seen anyone, like, do this, or like, but like, just have good intentions. My point is, have good intentions. I feel like most people do have good intentions. At least in my reality, most people do have good intentions. I've never seen anyone, manifesting like harm or anything on anyone else, okay? So I mean, just, yeah, I'm healthily obsessed over, I'm worshipped, I'm respected, I feel safe and secure. And you guys, your person will do that. I have had SPs be head over heels obsessed with me. I've had them communicate with me, contact me all the time, like, literally, like, offer to, like, remove people from their life for me, to make me feel safe and comfortable, give me the passcode to their freaking phone, which, like, is a big thing, you guys. Like, okay, for me, like, I will say though, I didn't really take him up on that offer because I trusted him enough. Like, my personally, what I think a relationship should be like is, like, you trust each other enough to, give the passcode or passwords to your phone, but, like, you also trust them enough to, like, not actually, like, use, like, get into their accounts. Like, I mean, that's just me personally. I know people will have different opinions on that. But I will say, my parents are happily married, you guys, and my parents have given me their phone when I needed it. Like, if my phone was charging or died or something, or we were on a road trip, they gave me the passcode to their phone, and I would, or I would use their phone to take pictures or, like, look up certain directions and stuff like that, okay? My dad, like, my mom, like, they love each other. They've been married to each other for, like, 27 years. There's not been a single problem, in their marriage that they haven't been able to get over. There's never been any cheating. There's never been any disloyalty, okay? Of course, like, little problems here and there that you have in a relationship. But you guys, like, my mom knows the passcode to my dad's phone. My dad knows the passcode to my mom's phone. I think it's, like, their birthdays or the last digits of their, my grandparents' birthdays or something like that. They trust each other so deeply. Okay, like my dad will, like, he does a lot of the driving. He'll just give, like, my mom, like, his phone, be like, oh yeah, do you want to look up the directions to this? And like, we all trust each other. Like, I have access to their phones whenever I want it. And like, yeah, I mean, my point is, like, relationships like this exist, trust exists, like, they deeply, securely trust each other. My mom has actually never felt the need to, like, see what my dad was up to or anything, because he was very trustworthy. He was very transparent with, like, everything that was going on. He was very communicative. He still is, like, even like they're so sweet and romantic. Like, anytime my dad goes out to, like, lunch with his coworkers or with his friends, like, he'll be like, oh, I'm on my way, or I just reached there. Like, even with flights, like, he'd like update everyone. Like, we're just that type of family, like, oh, reached the airport, got through the security, got through the baggage check, whatever, this, like, my parents are very communicative with each other. They feel so safe and secure around each other. My mom, like, gets treated like royalty, you guys. Like, I literally have a picture of, like, my dad, like, giving her, like, like, the most, like, lavish, amazing gifts. Like, not only that, like, he supports her, he's there for her. He is, like, the ideal husband. Like, I'm not even kidding when I say, like, like, I have very standards for, like, my dating life, the man that I have in my life, because of how well, my dad treats my mom. And it's like, even if you haven't had that, like, I know some people, come from families, or maybe that's not the case, or like, you've been hurt in relationships, this, that, you can have a good relationship on your own. Okay, like, I will just give an example. Sorry, you guys, this video is all over the place, but like, my dad actually, he never, oh my gosh, okay, this man, you guys, grew up in, like, I don't want to say, like, poverty, but oh my gosh, like, when I visited his, like, parents' place, my other grandparents' house, I mean, they live in a good place now, but it's just like, uh, oh my gosh, like, yeah, he did not live well in his childhood at all. And now this man is like a millionaire. He owns, like, multiple properties. He lives in a luxury apartment. I live in a luxury apartment. He did not come from money. I would say he was a rags to riches story. This man's had, like, no indication of, like, wealth whatsoever. Like, I think, like, they lived in a house where, like, the bathroom was outside. Like, it was him and his two other siblings. I think they only had, like, one bedroom, and like, they would, like, sleep like, in the veranda, or like, in the living room, and like, so only, like, couple people could fit in the bedroom. Holy. And then, like, now he's very successful, and like, he's been successful. So my point is, like, even if you're not used to your SP being obsessed with you, even if you're not used to having a certain manifestation, or you're not used to living in wealth, you can switch things around. Why do you think, all those books exist? Like, there's literally a section called rags to riches, like, for books and movies, right? So yeah, like, if it can happen for them, it can happen for you. And same with, like, relationships. I know people that have been hurt in relationships, that have had, like, severe trust issues, that are now, like, thriving. The relationship is, like, one of the best things in their life. Okay, so even if you've not experienced that version of your SP that's obsessed with you, that consistently texts you, contacts you, whatever, it doesn't mean things can't change. Things can and do change, and they will change. You just gotta, like, stay loyal to that story, okay, and collapse any timelines that are not in alignment, like, just, any undesired realities or timelines, by just sticking to and persisting to that story. Okay, so yeah. Also, I do want to let you know there is a self-concept challenge going on my Patreon, and a science challenge as well, where we collectively gather to manifest for each other, which amplifies and accelerates our individual manifestations. So if you're interested in being a like-minded group that is manifesting the same goal, do join that. The link to that will be in the description box below, patreon.com/enchanted43444. And what else? Yeah, I also offer in-depth tarot readings, as well as manifestation coaching, and I also custom make subliminals. So if you're interested in any of these services, check out the description box below, where you will find my website, and you can sign up for those services through my website. Thank you so much.